Welcome to the Startup Funding Espresso. I'm Halti Martin, the host of this show where we talk about raising funding for your startup and the time it takes to have an espresso. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, this is Halti Martin with the Startup Funding Espresso, your daily shot of startup funding and investing. There are over 125 terms in the NVCA glossary for term sheets, so which terms should the investor focus on? Here are 6 terms that are key to consider for your startup investment. Valuation, or the price you pay for the equity, is the most important term that impacts the return to the investor. Participation rights defines the investor's right to invest in future rounds. Most startup investors invest a smaller amount at the seed level, but invest larger amounts at the Series A. It's important to maintain your position in a successful startup. Board and information rights gives the investors a voice in the company and what information they can expect to receive. Liquidation preference, it pays back the holding investor first, and then the remaining funds are allocated to the investors based on their ownership percentage. This sets a floor on the investor's return. Redemption rights gives the investors the right to sell their shares back to the company if they want to exit before an acquisition. Unvesting founders' shares requires the founders to revest some of their shares. This provides equity to compensate the founder's replacement in the event the founder leaves early. There are many other terms that could be included, but specifically consider these for your next investment. Thank you for joining us for the Startup Funding Espresso, where we help startups and investors connect for funding. Let's go start up something today. Halti Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for the basis of investment decisions.